You're watching local coverage you can count on. This is WANE 15 First News Weekend.
It's Saturday, March 21st. Thanks for starting your morning with us. I'm Ethan Dowling.
And I'm Lance Huffman.
And it might be March, but it's going to kind of feel like a little further along in spring today.
Yeah, we're marching to more like May-like temperatures today because felt like May yesterday. And I tell you what, 77 degrees was a high temperature then. And a record high temperature today. Again, don't worry about it. We're not going to be anywhere near that because that's 87 degrees set back in 2012. Yesterday was also a record set back in 2012 of 84 degrees. We're still going to stick with some mild temperatures this weekend. We are tracking some rain later in the day on Sunday. And that's from a warm front and then eventually a cold front that kind of crashes into the area. Then it is going to give us a cooler Monday. But the biggest thing to really notice is that it's going to stay warm. Dealing with some fog this morning. It's not going to be as windy compared to last weekend, especially when we get into Sunday. That's going to be pretty nice. We are dealing with those areas of patchy dense fog. We can really start to see a lot of this fog continue to develop at our Bowen Health camera on the south side of Fort Wayne. The latest visibility map in Fort Wayne indicates at the Fort Wayne Airport down to around a half mile. So you're driving out about near I-69, near Jefferson, Airport Expressway, south sides of Fort Wayne, maybe even the north sides because we're seeing some of those reduced visibilities even up towards Auburn. Give yourself a few extra minutes, take it a little slower on the roads and a little bit more distance between you and the driver ahead of you. Also seeing some pretty reduced visibilities in Van Wert. You can see on Storm Tracker, it's trying to make it look like it's rain. However, I don't think much of this at all is even reaching the surface. 39 degrees in Fort Wayne, 37 in Van Wert, 42 in Warsaw, and 43 in Marion. Pretty cool this morning, but we see a big boost in those temperatures. 57 at 2, 65 at 4, 70 at 6. And coming up the 10-day forecast, a few more 70s are in the forecast. I'll tell you when, coming up.
Local coverage you can count on continues with meteorologist Lance Huffman's live Doppler 15 Fury forecast.
Starting things off with a pretty quiet look at the Bluffton camera in pretty much central Wells County. You can see a lot of these kind of mid to upper level clouds in our atmosphere, not really in lower levels really of it, but this is a good indicator of it being pretty quiet, albeit a fairly cloudy start to the day for many of us. And yesterday when we were looking at this high pressure, which is now on the East Coast, it was actually pretty much right over us. So it's continued to move eastward, and I talked about return flow yesterday, and we're pretty much in the middle of that now. This is return flow. So as we get towards the western side of a high pressure, we see air rotate around a high pressure in a clockwise formation, and it's in a circular pattern. So since we're now west of this high pressure, we're seeing southerly and southwesterly air start to filter in. And of course, this is almost always going to bring us some warmer weather compared to the day prior. Highs were only in the mid-40s yesterday. We're going to see lower 60s today. And then we look ahead to this low-pressure system extending in from Canada to Montana, parts of Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, even into parts of Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. You can see a couple stationary fronts, some of these reds and blues. This is pretty key here because these stationary fronts, keyword stationary, are going to be pretty much standing still over these next couple of days. They won't really be moving into our area until we get towards Tuesday. That's when we can expect to see our next rain chance. Our temperatures right now, 37 degrees in Fort Wayne, mostly cloudy skies at the Fort Wayne International Airport, 34 in Auburn, 37 in Marion and Van Wert, 38 degrees in Warsaw. A lot of us reporting at least partly cloudy skies. And over these next few hours, temperatures rise from those lower 40s towards 10 a.m. and into the 60s by late this afternoon and into the evening. Now let's take a look on Futurecast. We'll see more of these clouds through this morning and afternoon, but there's going to be at least some points where some sunshine does at least try to filter through. More clouds will be persistent overnight tonight, and Futurecast tries to simulate a rain shower or two. I think will be just dry enough to where most of those will not reach the surface. And then once we get towards Monday, skies stay mostly cloudy at that point. And then we're going to look towards that rain chance on Tuesday. We're going to deal with some warmth. If you watched the show earlier, we were showing highs in the upper 70s Tuesday. And this is going to culminate in the passage of a cold front. And you can see there's going to be a chance for some showers and thunderstorms, especially along and north of US 30, really Tuesday evening and into early Tuesday night before more of those rain showers move into pretty much all of our area by the time we get towards early Wednesday morning. Now, a few of those storms could be on the stronger side, especially north of Fort Wayne, but it's a level 1 out of 5 risk, and I think at this point, the main hazard with this would be gusty, damaging winds. So we're keeping a pretty close eye on this for Tuesday, because even outside of these storms as well, it's going to be pretty gusty. Some winds might reach up to 40 miles per hour, so certainly some windy moments at times on Tuesday. But look at the temperatures behind it. 50 Wednesday and Thursday, 62 Friday, 60 Saturday, and then 59 degrees on Sunday. Not always a good thing when it rains on Easter. I've heard a lot of folklore regarding raining on Easter, so hopefully it doesn't rain too much on there.
Yeah, looks like we're having a pretty active weather week as we head into our holiday.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Thank you, Lance.
All right, gusty winds pick up, especially this afternoon, 50 to 55 miles per hour. So prepare for some gusty moments as we go throughout later today. Clouds will be sticking around for most of today. We continue to watch that cold front that'll be moving through. Could expect to see some gusty winds, strong, maybe severe storms along that cold front. We're going to have more on our social media pages later this morning. So
Sunset Selection Sunday, 6 p.m. right here in CBS. Lance and I are going to send you off with our best shots as we ball up our script. So see what you got there, bud. A little short. Oh! Give me one. Give me one. I got to fit in the gym. It's too long.
I'm so much better than him.
Right here. Ready?
So much better.
Hey, quick assist.